If you're like me and you're into, health and fitness and getting in shape, you've probably done ab exercises and really focused on, tucking your belly in and keeping your abs on, which are all great things. But what I want to talk about in this video is our belly in culture, is this culture that we have where we want to have these flat stomachs and tight abs, is that causing postural distress? Are we screwing up our posture by doing this? Now, if you look at a baby who is just learning to walk and hasn't been stuck in a chair for 6 hours a day, and playing video games all the time, if they're just up and around, they can run around, but they haven't been socialized so much into our normal everyday life, which most of us do. Not everybody, but most of us do those things. Well, you can see with their body, they actually have like a big belly. When they're standing, you can see like it's a big belly. Well, this is part of the curve of your spine, right? If we look at your spine and your head's here, and let's just say you're looking this way, right? Nose. We'll give them a smile. You can see how great of an artist I am, all right? And we've got our spine, right? And it comes down, it kind of comes back, and then it comes this way, and then it kind of snakes around again. Well, this area is where your belly is, but as you can see, we've got this part of the S curve this way. Now, my genetics are, I'm a little bit more flat back, right? I'm not like that with my spine, and some people are like that because they've had like a rod for scoliosis or some sort of fusion. But for me, I tend to be of the two body types, the extreme body types. You've got the Donald Duck, where you kind of are sticking your butt out, right? And you've got this big arch or the curved lordosis. I can speak lordosis of the spine. And then the opposite is where you've got like the Pink Panther, where he's tilted underneath, his tail's tucked under, and he's sitting on his tail. I'm more Pink Panther than I am Donald Duck. And that's also just anatomy and shape. Well, it got me thinking about, the babies that are, with these big bellies. Got me thinking about power lifters who have power bellies. Strong men have power bellies, and they breathe into that lifting belt with a big belly so that they can protect their spine and keep their posture. If they have like 1,000 pounds on their back and they're doing a squat and their posture breaks, they cannot then come back up from that squat, right? They have to keep their posture, and breathing is such a big key to them. So also CrossFit athletes, if you look at CrossFit athletes, they've got abs, right? They're ripped, they're shredded. They have to have big lung capacities, right? Because they're not just doing like a simple strength event. They're doing strength, they're doing cardio, they're running, they're doing all this sort of stuff. Well, that lung capacity allows for them or makes it necessary for them to have big, diaphragmatic breaths, big lungs. And where are things going to go? They're going to kind of pooch out and make a belly. And you can see they've got these big bellies, but they're ripped. They've got abs. So you might say, oh, well, they're on steroids and their organs are collecting fat, and they're pooching out because of the organs. Now, hey, that might be true in certain cases, but there's so many of these examples to see where you might say, hey, what's going on here, right? The curve of the spine dictates right away, it shows us that we should be belly out. And so much of our posture sitting down, right? Crunching, tucking the belly in, all of that is going to push the spine the opposite way. So something for you to think about when in my previous video, I talk about breathing into your back. For me, the reason why I'm now going to be more of a proponent of this new technique that I got from Rickson Gracie is it allows for me to have this bigger belly, which is a better postural, position as I'm breathing without overdoing it, right? I don't want you to stick your belly out and then create a hyperlordosis of the spine. No. We want to have that balance in between the Donald Duck and Pink Panther. But this dictates where we need to be. We shouldn't be trying to change this, right? Because let's just say if I do push it in, the rest of the spine's going to react, right? You see so much of this with people who are at desk jobs, and as you get older, gravity starts winning, but we're sitting down all the time, and then it almost shifts everything over. So we're hunched over because every little chain reacts to every other little chain, right? If I look up, right, the rest of the spine kind of has to react. Now we want to be able to move each joint, but just in general, if I'm holding myself up like this, I'm going to have to adjust. If I'm looking down, I'm always on my phone, my rest of my body just naturally adjusts. So, technique, breathing into your back, all right? That's one thing. You can watch the previous video, but belly out, having a soft belly, not necessarily having a soft belly meaning you shouldn't have abs. No. We want to train the abs. You want to brace your core when you need to for certain exercises, but all day long, having that relaxed belly area where you can breathe and let your diaphragm get into that range of motion so that you can take those deep breaths. And what I found is you're going to have better posture, you're going to have less back pain, you're going to feel better, and it's going to support the rest of the spine. Something that the great Pavel Tsatsouline talked about in one of his kettlebell videos, I forget which one, but I heard it a long time ago, and just recently it came back into my head when I started thinking about this, is he said, and he's Russian, so he generalizes for his Russian buddies, and it might be different now, but he says when a Russian walks into the room, the first thing that comes through the threshold and the door is his belly button, right? Or his hips, right? He's leading with that. You might say, oh, he's just trying to stick his nuts out, right? That might be true, but what he's doing is really emphasizing having that big belly. And he was talking about stretching because we're so tight, and again, from sitting. So if you're standing up or even if you're sitting, don't just overarch your back and stick your belly out, right? Sit nice and tall. Let your belly relax. If I overarch, then I'm going to start creating tension in my back, which is going to create another postural imbalance, which is not what we want, right? Nice and tall, fighting gravity, right? As we get older, gravity starts to win. Fight it. Exercise in that way, but also use every day, every moment as a way to fight and exercise against gravity. Nice and tall. Breathe into your back or breathe into your belly, however it is that you can get the best breath. But this is something that I was just, thinking about and wanted to share with you. Belly in culture, I really don't think it's helping us. I think it's actually creating more problems than not. I know that we don't want to have a big belly, but hey, if you're ripped with a six-pack and your belly's sticking out a tiny bit, I don't think people can really call you fat, right? So there's difference between belly fat and belly out. Try it, see how it works for you, and let me know. Enjoy.